Okay, so I have a really weird one for you today. We're diving into a book that calls itself a trans sci fiction allegory.
Which is, quite a label.
It is, and it uses a literal mathematical formula to try and explain the human soul. The book is Someone Knocks at the Door by Dr. Pramod Ambadasrao Pawar.
It's a total genre bender. I mean, it reads like this quiet domestic drama on the surface,
Right.
but underneath, it's a really rigorous philosophical experiment. Pawar is basically using a kind of haunted house story to ask a question. At what point does care become, compulsion?
And that's the absolute core of it. We're following this small group, Zara, her mom Ruth, and this guy, Levi.
Levi, the man who knocks at the door.
Exactly. He shows up and he seems perfect. He cooks, he cleans, he makes the tea. On paper, he's a total saint. So why does it feel so menacing?
Because there's a huge difference between service and ownership. The book calls it the shadows of the heart. Levi isn't just helping. He's weaving what Pawar calls a web of hearts. He makes himself so indispensable that it becomes an intrusion.
Oh, so it's that manipulative, I did all this for you dynamic, just cranked way up.
Precisely. The author uses this metaphor of threads. In a healthy relationship, the threads are straight, right? They connect people, but they keep them distinct.
Huh?
Levi just grew. He tangles them all up. He creates this knot where you can't tell where he ends and Ruth or Zara begins.
And that suffocation, that's what leads to the central tragedy, the storm beneath the silence.
Right. It's not a big loud fight. It's all this unspoken pressure. It gets so heavy that Zara, the daughter, feels like the only way to cut that knot is suicide.
It's a brutal scene, the last whisper. She takes sleeping pills not because she's angry, but just to get free of the entanglement.
Yeah.
But in this book, death isn't the end of the story, is it? It's just a venue change.
It moves them from the house to what's called the luminous void.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we have to finally get into the Pramod effect. This is the math you mentioned at the start.
Okay, walk me through this. Because the formula is 1 minus 1 equals 0 equals 1. I get the first part, the subtraction. But how does 0 equal 1?
You have to think of it less like simple arithmetic and more like physics or spiritual balance.
Yep.
The two ones are dualities, love and obsession, life and death. When you subtract the extreme, when you take the obsession out of the love, you get zero.
So 0 isn't nothingness. It's the absence of all that noise.
Exactly. In Pawar's philosophy, that zero state, that perfect stillness, is actually oneness. It's universal zeroness. It's the state of being whole. So the argument is you can only become one or whole by zeroing out your extremes.
Wow, that completely reframes the whole story. Levi wasn't adding value by doing everything for them. He was adding chaos. He needed to subtract his own ego to find balance.
And the text supports this with another symbol, the mirror of desire. When characters look in mirrors, they don't just see their reflection. They see the cracks in their own psychology, where they're unbalanced.
So in this luminous void afterlife, they finally get the instruction manual.
Pretty much. They get a whole lecture from Danny, the deceased father. He lays out the do's and don'ts. And it all boils down to one thing, moderation. Love without wisdom is just heat. It burns. But love with wisdom is light. It illuminates.
And Levi actually gets to go back, doesn't he? He gets a second chance.
He does. He's sent back to the living world, supposedly enlightened by this whole Pramod effect.
Wow.
But the ending is, it's fantastic. He's sitting there, back in the world, and then he hears it. A knock at the door.
And we don't know who it is.
And it doesn't matter who it is. The knock is a constant. It's the next relationship, the next challenge, the next desire. The question the book leaves you with isn't who is at the door. It's how are you going to answer it?
Are you going to answer with that old obsession or with this new sense of balance?
That's the test. The author's whole message is that love with balance is a light that never fades.
That's a heavy thought to end on. You know, we're so used to thinking that more effort equals more love. But this book suggests that sometimes the most loving thing you can possibly do is just step back and untangle the threads.
Subtract the noise to find the signal.
There it is. So next time you hear that knock at your door, metaphorically or not, maybe just ask yourself if you're ready to open it without blocking the whole doorway. Thanks for diving in with us.